You know, it was a frightening scene, right? A plane upside down on the runway with a wing sheared off and flames coming from the fuselage. And hearing about it and seeing air travel accidents like this week's Toronto plane crash and the deadly midair collision near Washington, D.C. can all be so triggering for people. Fear of flying affects millions of Americans.
So understanding, learning how to deal with the anxiety of flying can be helpful. Joining us with some insight, Dr. Marcie Beigel, board-certified behavioral and now analyst. So great to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here, and I love this topic because there's so many ways to shift our fears to functionality that can really help people.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because I recently flew to San Diego, and it was right on the heels of the first one in Washington, D.C., right? So there was a heightened anxiety, and I could really kind of see that in everybody that was boarding the plane. Even the flight attendant got over and was like, we're going to be okay. So talk about, you know, the news coverage, how it can affect people who are going to be flying.
Yeah. So even if you're not personally scared, it's sort of in the air in some places.
Yes.
And so you have to be really conscious about it. Part of what's happening now is we're hearing it in so many different places. It's not just that you hear it on the morning news and we're done. We're hearing it then on the evening news. We're then going on social media and seeing it from multiple posts, from multiple people in multiple ways. We're reading the news and the videos are there. So every time we're getting that, our brain is going, there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one, even though that's all one instant, but you're seeing it 20, 30 times, which increases the fear. So we have to really consciously say to ourselves, this is all one moment, and I'm going to be okay.
But then there's another moment.
And then there's another moment.
Yes. And so close together.
Yes. And what we forget about is the thousands of flights that have taken off on every one of those days that have taken off and landed, no problem. But we're not hearing about that, so we forget that happened. So we're like, and then there's another one. But there are thousands that are fine. So the percentages are actually in our favor, that everything's going to be good, but our brain doesn't know that, and so the fear comes up higher.
Okay, you say fear, some say phobia.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's definitely a difference. And I feel that sometimes the word phobia isn't used in kind of the clinical sense. It's just a really big fear.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Casually talk about it. But an actual phobia is something that is irrational and persistent and impacting your life. So you wake up and you're scared, and you're not leaving your house because you're worried about flying, and you don't know what to do on a day-to-day basis. You can't focus, you can't work, you can't pay attention to your family and friends because you're so scared of this thing. Whereas most of us are just scared. When we think about flying, when we're booking a flight, when we're talking about vacation, we're like, maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll do that in a month.
So
that's a fear.
Okay, so how do you overcome that fear? How do you work towards addressing that?
Well, the first thing to do, separate facts from feelings. Our feelings are our feelings. They're important, but they are not the facts, and they're not always true. So looking at the facts, percentage-wise, we're much more likely to be injured, to be harmed, to be part of an accident in some other form of transportation. Not actually on a plane. That's the facts of it. It's been 4 flights-ish compared to thousands that have been fine. The numbers are good. So when we look at the facts, we can go, okay, I'm relatively safe. This is worth it. Whereas when we just look at the instances that we're watching, we get really scared because it's terrifying to see.
Can we leave that list up real quick of the different things that we can do? Because the other thing is focus on why you're flying.
Yes. So there are a bunch of things you can do. Focus on why you're flying. Are you going to see loved ones? Are you going on a vacation? Because in New York, I would love to be in the sun right now.
I know.
That'd be great.
It's cold,
Is this part of your job that you love, or part of your job that puts a roof over your head? And that's important. Focus on that. Focus on the history that you have with flying. You've probably flown many, many times with very little incident. I've flown many, many times. There's never been a problem. There's been delays. There's been turbulence. So my experience says I'm going to be good.
What do you say about I know you're saying the percentages are the percentages, right? But because we're seeing them so close together, and some of them are commercial airlines and not just small planes, right? When you hear, like, you know, years of nothing, and now they're kind of pulled together. You have Toronto and D.C., which were commercial. Is the numbers still the numbers, or are they shifting now?
They might be shifting, but they're still really small. Right? And so part of that is thinking about, what am I in control of and what am I not when it comes to the fear. I'm not the statistical information of like where the facts actually are on that and how they're changing. And they might be increasing a little bit, but still the likelihood of us being in a car accident or any other, I don't want to start listing them,
please.
but we're still much safer on a plane than other places.
Can we ask you this? So once you're on the plane.
Yeah.
Okay, you're already there.
You're there.
How do you manage that anxiety if all these things start to come back?
Yeah.
Or in my case, you have the person who's across the aisle who's really having an issue.
Oh yeah, the guy that was having trouble breathing.
Oh. So if the person across from you is having problems, it helps you by saying, I'm going to focus on being helpful to that person, and gets you out of your own fear. If you can do that, that's great. You're going to give them the same tools that you would use on yourself. So any of those anti-anxiety plans that we've heard about in so many ways, taking deep breaths. If you need a specific plan, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold out for 4, and just keep doing that.
Okay.
Right? Distract yourself. Read a book, watch a movie. Make sure you have something to do when you get on that plane, so you're not just sitting there going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, but actually can do something.
Yes.
And then also prepare yourself for a few days before. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, get some exercise, get out in the sunshine. That all will help your mental health be resilient for that moment that you're on the plane.
Really great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I wish we had you here before we flew.
I know. Really.
Both of us took flights to California.
I'll give you my numbers. You can call me. We'll do a consult on the way.
Dr. Beigel, you were great. Thank you so much for all your advice.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Safe flying, everybody.
Yes.